guess first of all, just how has fall camp been for you so far?
It's been great. I mean, for like getting to see those guys back out there, it's always fun to get back out on the field, put the pads on, especially like these. I know today was just practice, but getting a chance to go out there for those guys and not just be doing drills all summer. So it's been fun getting to see, getting the young guys back out there, like those new freshmen we have, and getting a chance to sit there and get better with the drills and techniques and then getting to work 11 on 11. It's been fun.
I feel like we've talked to a lot of position groups. Oh, inexperience. You guys don't really have that problem. Like,
No,
what
not
has
at
that been
all.
like? Just having a lot of vets in
It's good, but then, like I said, it's always striving to get better, and that's one thing. Even with Paul and Kenny, like I said, they continue to push those guys. Like I know Paul talks about the taco truck thing, but it's really a real mindset though about, like I said, yes, you're getting all these accolades, but the thing at the end of the day is like you still can be better than what you were last year, and so, but having that experience in that room is great because, like I said, when we get into the film and we're watching it, those guys are just as much trying to coach it up for the young guys and they're in there talking just as much as I am. And it's good because like it creates a really, really good environment for these young guys to feel like they can be more open about asking questions and being like, hey, Kenny, what do I do when it's a down block and I get the tight end coming back to me? So like those guys getting to be the young guys getting to be around some of these elder statesmen in the room is really, really good because a lot of knowledge is in that room and it rubs off on them early on.
Start with those two at the top. You talked about kind of classroom, how they've grown, but how have you seen them take the next step, maybe physically and then on the field?
Both of those guys have really sat there and poured into the nutrition and the work ethic in the weight room as well. Like that's one thing with both of those guys is I sometimes have to sit there and pull the reins on them when it comes to working out, especially Paul, because that Paul was trying to do any and everything to make sure he's at the top of his game. I mean, the guy came in here as a DN, and I mean he's a 300-pound monster at nose tackle now, and so just continue to work on little things because it can't all just be bench press and squats. Like the thing we've been working on with him has been like mobility and flexibility. Because it's one thing to be as strong as you can be, but if you can sit there and bend and take an edge and be able to sit there and bend and lean, you're a lot scarier out there at nose tackle. And so Kenny as well. Kenny's continuing to sit there and work on his durability as well as his strength and twitchiness because with him like his first step is second to none for a lot of guys and I think that's where he's continuing to get better physically and that's why I lean on those two when it comes to getting stuff done outside of the meeting room because they know what it looks like and they know how it should be done.
Continue to kind of go here. There's a lot of names, obviously, but we'll go to Zach and Hunter next, probably the next two guys behind those two, and they'll definitely see the field a lot this year. So, how have you kind of seen Zach first take the next step, and then Hunter as well?
Zach's big thing was for him these last couple of years since he's been here has been consistency. Like when he got here, he was very twitchy. He was very, like I said, his focus was really, really all here. And we got him down here to a little bit, focused him in a little bit more, and so he became more consistent. And so, like I said, Zach's more of like he's an X factor. Like you're gonna see him a lot on the field on third down. We'll get him. Obviously, he'll be on every special teams, and we find ways to get him chances to sit there and get one on ones. And Hunter has been my guy. That's where it's Mr. Consistency. Like I said, he's grown and he's been the guy that's kind of been behind the spotlight, but he's one of those guys where I've been able to lean on him because of just how consistent he is when it comes to the technique, understanding his assignment, and then when it's time to make a play, he makes a play. Like I always think about that goal rush, pass rush from him. That one's on the teach tape, just how good of a pass rush it was and how he finished it. So that's the kind of guy. That's kind of the example that I use of him when it comes to being consistent that he is.
Talent has also been a name that's been tossed around this year as somebody who's kind of really grown compared to last year. So, what have you seen from Mr.
Oh
Marsh?
man, Mr. Marsh, that guy has really grown from when he first walked through the doors here 2 years ago. That's one thing. Like he in the spring, he was one of the most improved in my line in my D line when it came to the interior guys. He's taking that next step because he's another guy where he was used to being the guy, but now playing within the defense and being able to make plays within the defense has been that next step for him. And I think he's done a really good job of making sure, like, hey, I'm going to do my job. When I do my job, the play's going to come to me. And so when you watch him out there, like I said, he's taking the steps that I've seen 90. Well, he's 41 now. 41 take those steps he was, where it's like I'm not trying to do everything and make every play. Don't need to be the hero. I do my job. The play will come to me, especially at nose tackle. So Talon's taking great steps, and that's one guy. He's earned a lot more trust from me, he's earned a lot more respect from me when it comes to just who he is as a player.
The end rotation kind of reminds me of when Ben Seymour was starting and against opposite Brody, and then Kenny was coming in for a lot of the cheetah packages and things like that. Is that kind of how you feel? Like these three DNs at the top are kind of looking right now.
Yeah, I would actually say that's kind of where I stand when it comes to it, because I remember that time, because like I said, Benny was like that Mr. Consistency. The guy was hard to beat out because of just how he graded out. Everything he did was right. But then you had Kenny, who was like the guy that you wanted to bring in on third down because you knew what you had with him, when it came to like kind of the X factor on the pass rush. And so Zach is kind of the same way, but those two have been pushing. Zach and Hunter have really been pushing each other. And like I see myself right now, it's a three-man rotation. Like I said, those guys are really pushing each other to get on the field. And like, if one of those three are out there, I'm good. Day one, honestly, they could sit there and go rock, paper, scissors, and I wouldn't even be minded who went out there at that point, because just that much trust between those three guys.
And anybody else that you want to shout out?
Honestly, I've got some guys in there. Like I said, it's a deep room right now. Like I said, Talon's done a really good job. Zach Black has really been pushing himself to be more of a more consistent run stopper, as well as getting good with it, because he's a very athletic human being and getting really good at the pass rush as well. And then, like I said, we got some young guys that are continuing to work themselves into the group. And like I said, there's Seth Brock. There's a freshman out there that's going to impress some people. Josiah Oswego, just because of sheer size, and then how coachable he is. He continues to sit and take the steps the right way. Hunter Charbonneau is still in the mix, and I think he's doing a really good job. He's taking his steps from being an 8-man guy to being a factor at nose tackle as well. And then Hudson Weems continues to work and continues to get better. So it's a really good group of guys in there. Logan Fredrickson, Jake Vegan, like those guys are doing a really good job. And I even got three other freshmen. Grayson Snyder is really learning the defense, as well as Major Downing coming from Texas, and Blaine, I said Major Downing, Manny Thornhill, and then Blaine Downing as well. Like I said, Blaine coming from Seiko, learning how to play some more D-line. He's done a really good job of that transition of coming in from high school ball to playing to Montana State football.
Anything with Tom Solano?
The funny part is I try to name everybody and I still forget somebody. Big Dom is doing a really good job as well. And I feel bad that I even forget about him, because, like I said, he wasn't out here today just from practice. But like he's done such a good job. He's taking the steps and really been necessary, because he's another one of those guys where he has that it factor. He has that little X factor where he can sit there and be a guy for us on third down and be able to rush the passer. So there's a lot of guys that can go out there on third down for us as well. We just got to continue to sit there and get more consistent with some of these guys as well.
Back-to-back years, I think it's just back-to-back. What I remember, it's D-linemen wearing 41. That's obviously a big deal. So how would you kind of describe this? Just what it means to represent, 41, but also being a part of the D-line and what it means to play D-line.
I think it's a big deal for us. Like I said, obviously it's on our pride, and obviously, like I said, we continue to recruit really well in the state of Montana and bring in really good players that develop into leaders in this room, on and off the field. And I think it's a good thing, because we always talk about it in our D-line room. Like I said, we set the tempo for the team as a defensive line, and we want to make sure that we're the guys that, like I said, we're the guys that set the tempo. We're the guys that sit there and lead the way. Like, I want those guys to be leaders on and off the field. And so, like, it's a testament to what we talk about in the room, and just one of the examples that we show. Like, hey, like, you guys are obviously leaders in this room well enough, and leaders on this team, to the point where guys feel like you should be wearing that 41, and you should be the one out there wearing it with pride for the state of Montana. I really just, like, we talk about everything. When we break on everything, we break on two. We break on dominate, because that's one thing we want to approach everything we do, whether it's in the classroom, on the field, and off the field in the community. We want to sit there and approach it and attack it. We don't want to sit there and be the guys in there being reactive to anything. We're proactive in everything that we do. We try and dominate.
You mentioned the mobility and flexibility piece of the ball. I remember you mentioned this with Blake in the past as well. I guess how much of is that an emphasis not only for the nose, but just kind of that entire line?
For those guys, because I mean, they're big athletic human beings, and so, like, a lot of these guys, like I said, we've got them as freshmen, and they weren't the biggest guys. They didn't come in here. There's only one guy I know that came in here at 300 pounds, and that's Josiah. But most of these guys have had to sit there and grow. And so the thing about putting on that weight is you start losing a little bit of that flexibility. So that's a constant battle for these guys. And that's where one thing myself, Coach Howell, Coach Dusenberry, we always talk about with all of them is continue to sit there and put the weight, put the strength, put that explosion there. But you got to sit there and work on the flexibility and mobility to be able to change directions, because we're not guys that are just holding gaps. We're not guys that are just taking on double teams. We're out there doing exactly what we're supposed to do when it comes to being violent, being aggressive, and being athletic out there, because at the end of the day, we got to be able to sit there and rush the passer as well, just as much to be able to stop the run.